So I'm here at the World of Pinot Noir with the wonderfully talented George, who is a home chef.
I think of myself really as a cook.
Could I call you a home chef?
A home cook.
A home cook.
I'm a cook.
Okay, George is being very modest. George is a home cook.
You know, I grew up in an ethnic household, and so there was always somebody cooking something. And I remember my grandmother was always, you know, sautéing onions, cutting up potatoes, doing something like that. And there was always onions under the stairs and potatoes in the cellar, and so I just kind of grew up around that sort of food, you know. And it was when I was a kid, it was kind of funny though, because you know she would be making eggplant and all these other you know odd ingredients for. I grew up in the Midwest, and so I'd have people over for dinner, and they didn't know what the heck they were looking at, you know, stuff they'd never had before, and the house always smelled funny. And so it was a challenge when I was younger, but I grew up to appreciate it more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And my father owned a fish market, so I grew up with fresh fish, and so it was easy for me to get that and experiment with it. And I kind of grew up kind of with that whole sort of paradigm. Fresh is better.
Fresh is better.
Yeah, it was not something you'd open up and you could pronounce everything that you ate. It was pretty easy to get through a meal.
So the ingredients were a lot of vegetables?
A lot of vegetables, a lot of seafood. Since my dad owned a seafood market, you know, everybody said you eat a lot of fish, and I said, not that much, just a few times a week. Well, to them, it was like they ate it a few times a year.
Especially in the Midwest.
Yeah, it didn't seem, exactly. It didn't seem like that big of a deal at the time. And then, you know, I went to school in Boston, and then right as I get done, I really started to cook a lot more than I ever had. It inspires me to do a lot of the dishes that I come up with. Really are the techniques, spawned from the techniques. You know, they really are. You know, gosh, here's a take on an old style, you know, a dish that's a dish that's fun to do that I like, and then maybe do a spin on it with a new technique that makes macaroni and cheese into a different kind of, puts it into a different kind of a strategy. Or using just old style, fun, things that everybody likes to eat, comfort food, and just kind of, just sort of tweaking them a little bit, taking different, newer, contemporary techniques that really get them into a whole different framework.
Sounds wonderful.